G'day mates, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am of course in a very different location. I am now in Canada. I'll explain at the end of the video why I'm in Canada and what's going on with me. But first, we have to talk about the Cash Cups today, the insanely close finish on EU, what's going on with the new Spider-Man nerf and the heavy shotguns, how are they playing out in comp Fortnite, and some details on the Twitch Streamer Bowl, which is coming up in a few days. $1 million prize pool, and it just got leaked that Muzz and Clix are on the same team somehow. So I'm going to talk about all the teams and what's going on with that. So it's gonna be a banger video. Let's just jump into it. Before I get into talking exactly how different people did on different regions, because EU is one of the most insane cash cups I've ever seen, I do want to talk a little bit about the meta, because we just had our major balance changes in the most recent update, the 19.20 update. We got the covert cavern, we got the new heavy shotgun, and we had the huge Spider-Man mythic nerf. So how is that playing out in comp solos? Because it's our first set lobby since that change was made. Firstly, the heavy shotgun. It's not quite as strong as a lot of us originally thought. It's a little bit weird. I did see some pros using the heavy shotgun really well, one of them being Exy on NA West. He was using it like kind of as his ranged weapon at endgame when people would tarp out, and then he'd kind of get that little gap before they build the next wall. He'd hit them with a big heavy shotgun headshot, and then he'd use the SMG in the box close range. Kind of crazy to think Fortnite's gotten to the point where the SMG is the close range weapon and the shotgun is the long range weapon. But outside of that, most of the pros I watched were preferring to use the regular striker pump shotgun. The heavy shotgun, while being crazy good, especially against bad players or in team game modes when people expose themselves a lot, in solos, in set lobbies against some of the best in the world, there's just not enough opportunities to get an ADS shot. You can't ADS to get that guaranteed big hit. And then when it comes to hip firing, you don't want to be box fighting and have to rely on Bloom. It's just not a lot of fun. You hit the peanut butter, you got him full box, you jump up, and then there's just Bloom. You can't hit your shot. So as much as it is a decent shotgun and it's a cool addition to the game, I just think that Bloom on the hip fire is just, I don't know. Maybe if they had it where the shotgun didn't have as much Bloom on hip fire and it kind of maybe worked like an auto shotgun at hip fire or maybe a striker pump, but then if you ADS'd it, you got that really big damage buff. I know that'd be pretty broken to have it good at both, so I would like to see a balance, but the way it stands at the moment, having to hip fire the shot is just not as strong as we originally thought it was going to be. The first night it came out, I 150'd a guy from like 6 boxes away in the head. I thought the gun was super broken, but when it comes down to actually using it and box fighting against good players, it's just not strong enough. As far as the Spider-Man nerf, I'm actually a huge fan of this, like I thought I would be. Watching people play solos today, it was still a really strong item that a lot of people went for aggressive drops for. If you found one mid and late game, it felt like a blessing, but it didn't feel like you were watching people who didn't have Spider-Man, so they had no chance of winning. It's still a really strong item, and I don't know why people are asking for it to be buffed. Remember, the grappler was a super broken item in Fortnite for a long time that only had 10 uses. You took fall damage, it didn't shoot as far, and you couldn't use it to grab mats. So having a Spider-Man with 20 that does all of those things, it is definitely not too weak. It is in a really good spot right now. I'm really enjoying watching solos with the change to the Spider-Man mythic. As far as covert cavern, yeah, that drop is busted. I think everybody knows it. As far as solos goes, because there's so many people fighting for it and so many people third party and try and push in and get the vault, and you know, people are using heavy armored walls to block off the vault. It is a bit of a tumultuous drop. It's really strong drop, but it's heavily contested. As far as rotating in late to get loot from it is a really good strategy. If you drop anywhere near covert cavern and you're out of loot, or you know, you're in a bad spot, stay in storm or wait late, hang around near the edge, rotate back into covert cavern, not even the vault, just back into the drop itself. There will be so many meds that people have left behind because there's so many barrels, there's so many of the coolers to get the splashes and get them out. It's insane. It really is a huge drop that's going to have a big impact on competitive. I don't think we'll see the huge impact in solos because it doesn't have the Spider-Man. So drops like Bugle and drops like Greasy, where you can get the loot and the Spider-Man, are coming out on top. But in duos, it is going to be a different story. I'm fully expecting in duos the next couple days, if one team can alpha that drop or get a good amount of the loot from that drop themselves, they are going to win the set lobbies. Now, let's get into talking about the results of the Cash Cup, because this was ridiculous. Now, this is not Leshy. A lot of people seem to think this was Leshy. Lewis managed to win the EU Cash Cup, and yes, you were looking at that leaderboard properly. We had a tie break to see who won the Cash Cup between Lewis and Kami. Lewis won because he had the Victory Royale tiebreaker. If you don't know, tiebreakers, if you have the same amount of points, goes Victory Royales, average elims, average placement. Lewis would have lost on the average elims, but he did have that Victory Royale, so he beat Kami, who 4 elims 6 on the board in that last game to catch up to Lewis and almost beat him. The 2 elim 19th from Lewis was very scary. He did get the 4 elim win in his second last game. We also had Griff on 97 points with a 6 matches and 2 wins, so won 2 games but still wasn't able to win the Cash Cup. Then we had Comeback on 97, so there was 1 point separating 4th from 1st. This was one of the closest set lobbies we have ever seen in the history of Fortnite. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch it because of the whole flying. I'm trying to get onto a good sleep schedule. I'm trying to get a bunch handled, so I unfortunately missed EU. I watched NA East and NA West, but I went back, watched the VODs. This looked absolutely ridiculous and was a super exciting finish. We had Malibuka with a 5 elim 15th jump up there at the very end. Rax got the 6 elim win in the very last game to try to jump up. He probably thought he may have won it on 92 points. We had DKS, Cade, Loot Boy Swifty, and then Seti. And this is not the last I'm going to talk about Seti. Seti had an insane day today, including a huge performance on NA West. NA East, we saw one of the most dominant solo performances in set lobbies we've seen all season. We had Cam coming out in first on 145 points, 44 points clear of second of Peterbot, who got 101, which going back to EU would have won Peterbot the Cash Cup on EU. So that is just how much Cam dominated by. He got an 8 elim second, a 6 elim win, a 0 elim 67th, where honestly, it wasn't even that bad of a misplay. He boxed up right next to Okus before his metal cone fully built. Okus just jumped in and does what Okus does best and took him out. Then he got a 4 elim win, a 3 elim 7th, and then a 0 elim 70th because the last game everyone was just keying like crazy. So in the 4 games where he made it out of mid game, he got a second, first, and 7th. Also, big shout out to Destiny Jesus, who you guys know makes a whole bunch of fantastic educational Fortnite content. Also has his masterclass. Just a very good and well-established coach. He was coaching Cam in these games, and it did show Cam was looking a whole nother level of insane. But I want to make it very clear, when people do well with a coach, I'm not trying to say they're only doing well because they have a coach. They just happen to have a coach and they were doing well there. The coach helps, but they don't make the player. You can't just coach little Timmy and all of a sudden he's going to dominate a solo Cash Cup, all right? We also have Peterbot coming in second on 101 points with 6 matches, 1 win. We had Donnie on 93. We had Gold on 89. Jackson, Sharkman, Seek, who was doing insanely well in the first 3 games. I was loving to see a new name in the leaderboard who I don't see as much at the moment. Then we had a 0 elim 60th, 86th, and 62nd. So unfortunate for Seek, but I was very impressed watching him. That 8 elim win especially was insane. We had Acorn in 8th. We had Prappa in 9th. I'm not too sure who that is. And then Dubs in 10th. And I want to go back to Cam as well, because a lot of you guys haven't heard of Cam. He was popping off at the end of Chapter 2, made it to Grand Royale Finals, and then the last FNCS Finals for Trios as well. Being picked up by Bucky, and a lot of people very surprised to see Bucky pick up Cam. But, I mean, placements like this and formats like this are proving that Cam is one to look out for. He's also the guy to thank for the whole slam thing when we had Flu Cam Slam, so you probably heard of that one as well. We had yet again another console player placing in NA East. Just wanted to pop this in here to make sure I don't miss these. We had Ducky placing in 24th, walking away with $250 in a solo set lobby finals. I'm trying to show as much love as I can to the console gang. I mean, if they keep placing this regularly, maybe I won't put it in videos because it's becoming not as special, and I mean that as a huge compliment. Right now, the console gang is placing in set lobbies very consistently, or at least making it to them, so it's cool to shout it out. I know you guys always spam tag me on Twitter whenever someone in console places. If I miss any of these, it doesn't mean I'm not trying to show them love. It's just there's a lot of people placing, and that's a good thing. NA West, we saw a name that we're used to seeing on the top. 161 points from Snacky with 6 matches, 1 win with an average elims of 4th. Snacky was playing very consistent Fortnite. 6 elim 3rd, 1 elim 6th, 3 elim 10th, 1 elim 20th, 4 elim 3rd, and then a 9 elim win to close out. That last game was Snacky's biggest game. He went crazy. He closed it out in style, beating out Kinzo by over 30 points in the end, who unfortunately on the back of 2 wins in his last 2 games, the very last game though got a 0 elim 24th. Very unfortunate to see, but still a really good game from Kinzo. We had Big Yayan or Yiyan, sorry, I haven't seen too much of him, in 3rd. Playerfy in 4th, who's been playing really consistently right now. And then Seti. Yes, we had EU Seti at like 2 a.m. in the morning, and EU come in 5th place overall in NA West, even going as far as to get a 1 elim win in his second game. We had Unrealiana in 6th. We then had Douglas the Crip in 7th, Hound, God, and then Exy in 10th, just beating out Epic Whale for the money on the tiebreak of a 77 points. I just wanted to quickly cover what's going on with the Twitch Streamer Bowl. It's a $1 million tournament that's taking place in a few days, and I feel like not enough people are talking about this. We have teams being announced now like Clix, Tyreek, and Muzz, and has people freaking out, wondering how this tournament's going to work, where it's Clix, Muzz, 2 pros, and Tyreek, who've already won multiple Streamer Bowls with Clix. So let me cover what's going on. It takes place in a few days on the 9th. It is going to be a trios event, 60 players, 20 teams, $1 million prize pool. That is for charity though. The players do not get that prize money. The way it's being split is 1 content creator, 1 pro, and then 1 NFL player. The content creator is the reason why it's getting a bit confusing on who's playing with who, because players like Clix and Day, because they are huge content creators for Fortnite, are being let in under that category. You then have pros like Muzz, who actually qualified during the combine, or if you guys remember the opens tournaments they had where you're able to qualify. So that is how the teams are being kind of split up. So yes, you have content creators like Clix and Day in there, but you also have old content creators being brought back to the game. We have Brooke playing, you have Symphony, you have Lost Polos, Aiden. So the teams are going to be interesting to watch. Obviously, there are some big favorites going in, but it's still going to be fun to watch either way. It is going to be all streamed on Twitch, of course. I'll be doing a viewing party for it on my Twitch channel in a few days. It's on during the Cash Cup, so we'll have to see how it kind of goes, but I'm excited to watch it either way, and I wanted to cover a lot of people being upset by who got invited and who didn't, and just give my thoughts on it. I wasn't invited. Yes, I am a big streamer on Fortnite when it comes to Twitch. I do love streaming Fortnite on Twitch, but I'm a viewing partier. I wasn't really that surprised I didn't get invited. A lot of times when Twitch does this tournaments, not just Fortnite, with other games for these streamer bowls, they invite a lot of other content creators who maybe don't play that game as much as someone else. It's their decision. They want to put on a cool tournament. It's for charity. Bring some people in. I'm happy to just watch it from home anyway. Yes, I'm now in NA, and I did tell people if I was invited, I'd be able to go because I would be in NA for it. That doesn't mean I'm guaranteed an invite from Twitch. And I know there's some people out there who's upset they didn't get invited, and I fully get that. I'm not trying to make them look bad by being upset. People are going to handle this one differently. I'm surprised to see people like Calazo and Scoped, who are pro players who, you know, pull insane numbers on Fortnite and have for a long time, not getting invited to play, because it would have been cool to see more of those like competitive content creators. But it'll be cool to see, you know, Brooke and Symphony, maybe they run into each other, maybe they get in a fight in game, maybe Los Polos pops off and takes out someone like Clix and Day. It just adds those fun elements. It's not meant to be a super serious competitive tournament. At the end of the day, it's a streamer bowl. I'm gonna watch it for a bit of fun. I just wanted to clarify that because I saw some people upset that I didn't get invited. I've always said the same thing on my stream. I'd love to be invited. It'd be a cool opportunity. If I get invited, I'll play, but if I'm not invited, I'm not going to be mad. I understand how they run these things. Obviously, you guys have already figured out I am no longer in Australia. I'm now in Canada. I know a lot of you guys thought I was going to LA. I am still going to LA, so I just want to take this part of the video to explain what is going on for anyone confused. I'm now in Vancouver, Canada, so I'll be playing on stream and playing my games on NA West at the moment. It's because I still haven't got my United States visa. It's a long process. We've been going through it. Me and my wife both have to get the visa. Then we both have to go and do an interview overseas. It's all a bit of a nightmare, but we are getting there. So I'm in Canada for a bit of a pit stop. I'm here for about 4 to 6 weeks. I'm loving it. Then I'm traveling down to LA, and that's when you'll start seeing the cool IRL content with the NRG guys. I'll be streaming out of the castle. I've been doing tournaments, a whole bunch of fun stuff like that. At the moment, I'm back to doing everything as normal now. I'm sorry I missed that 4 or 5 days of uploading. I did just fly from Australia to Canada. I'm all set up. I'm back to streaming all the tournaments, doing viewing parties. I'm playing Arena with a whole bunch of my NA friends, which I've been looking forward to doing for so long now. So the uploads are back to normal. They're still going to be at the same time. My streams are going to be maybe a bit earlier, but I'm still streaming all the tournaments I used to and more. So that's why I'm not in LA just yet, but at the same time, Canada has not been a bad place. I'm absolutely loving it. There will probably be some IRL content like vlogs and just like, you know, my first impressions on trying out American fast food, you know, stuff like that is probably going to happen on some of my other channels though, not on the main channel. So keep an eye out for that one. But I just wanted to put a little bit of an explanation in the video because a whole bunch of you guys are confused on why I'm not in Australia, why I'm in Canada, and why I'm not in LA. I'm going to be there soon, but I'm traveling around all of NA over the next couple years. I'll probably be staying away for at least a few more years. Yeah, I've said it a few times on stream. I want to have kids in about 2 or 3 years time. That's when I'll settle down and go back to Australia. But for now, I will be in NA. I'll be making cool content, whether it's Canada, whether it's LA. Maybe I'll try somewhere on NA East. Who knows? We'll see. Maybe I'll travel to EU. It's all a bit of fun at the moment. So just a bit of an explanation on what's going on with me and why I have a new setup. All right, guys, that does it for another video. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, please chuck a like on it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one.